Hello everyone, and today it finally arrived, the Analogue Duo. This is the USA version, which basically means it's the one with the black shell. I had originally ordered this back in November of 2023, so in that case I hadn't waited as long as the folks that have ordered this much earlier. However, I was slightly disappointed because nowhere when I placed my order at the end of November that we were informed that for folks ordering at that time, we would not get our product until at least February. When I placed my order, it seemed I was still ready to ship in 2023. Even received the email message that we're getting your order ready to ship on, I think it was like 12/8 or 12/11. Then that was the last day I needed to confirm my email address. And then after not hearing anything till about mid-December, I reached out and was informed actually that I would not be getting my orders till February. So here we are. That said, that was the main snafu. I am going to try to launch this basically unupdated. I will be trying with the EverDrive 2.0. I've already gone ahead and removed the upper plastic. Let me see if I can get this going here. Upper plastic as well, so it'll fit the slot. And I will be trying it with some Hue cards that are original. I've got Alien Crush, Street Fighter 2 on the original Hue cards, and I've got some repros from PCE Works, which they do excellent work, and I'll be doing more extensive videos of those. So I'm going to go ahead, again, pretty standard analog package, very Apple-esque. I will be, of course, once I get this unwrapped, show you the rest of the contents. All right, after removing the shrink wrap, it's got a very nice, simple Duo right on there, as you can see. Very Apple-esque as far as the minimalist packaging. The size itself is a pretty decent size. It's actually not too far off from the TurboGrafx 16 Mini, and I'll grab that in a second. All right, and cracking on here is the TurboGrafx 16 Mini. Here is the Duo, and top by top, you can see the different size. Not that far off. Of course, the Hue card slot does not work on here. Has a 2 USB in the front on the Mini, and of course I believe about 53 to 60 games. Now, taking the Duo out, in the back you've got SD card slot, hopefully for saves for the CD-ROM games, HDMI, and 2 USB slots. On the right side, you've got the pairing connection, the light up for the different number of controllers. Got a volume rocker. You've got the, I forgot what this was for actually. I think headphone jack. And then the old school port one for the PC Engine TurboGrafx 16 old school controller. And I thought, there it is. There's the USB-C for power. And you do have to use the included cable and power plug that came with the Duo to ensure that it supplies enough power. The CD-ROM drive itself does not open up. That is one thing that I do wish Analogue had done, just in case if the drive ever stops working, it would really suck to get your game stuck. There is the Hue card slot, power button, and of course the CD-fed drive right there. And nothing on the other side. And on the bottom, a nice little kind of little wave pattern. A little grippy, but very well done. All right, so let's get it plugged in, and actually I forgot to showcase what comes underneath. So once you got the console out, let me see if I can lift this up. Here is the said supplied AC adapter that you, again, do have to use. Get it out. There we go. USB-C on one end, USB-C on the other. Got the cable, and of course the HDMI cable as well. I will be using the one that I use for my dock, so that'll be pretty straightforward. And I think just some paperwork in here. I believe it's a QR code for instructions on how to use the machine. I forgot to mention that it doesn't come with a controller, but on their site they partnered with 8BitDo and leads you right to Amazon to pick up the PC Engine or Core Graphics controllers. I actually picked up both a black and white set. It's already charged up, so hopefully pairing it should be fairly easy. I've already checked for a firmware update, but I admit that I did it in December thinking that I originally get my order. So if it doesn't work, I will update it again, just in case if there's any latest drivers, and then try it. And here you can see the EverDrive. This is version 2. I did remove the cover. Still doesn't quite work. That's fine. I do have some physical media, but I did want to give it a try to see if it would work. Unfortunately, currently it does not, even with the newest firmware. Next up, we've got a few physical copies. So as you can see, it's Dynaforce, Magical Chase, of course, the original Japanese version is Street Fighter 2 Championship Edition, and of course, Alien Crush as well. And now we're going to talk about the Analogue Duo itself, while a couple game clips play in the background. Since arrival, there has been a jailbreak, which was published in, I believe, February 22nd of 2024. Currently, there hasn't been a new update, so you can load some ROMs, both the TurboGrafx and PC Engine HuCard ROMs data, and also some PC Engine / TurboGrafx 16 CD images or ISOs, and actually load it from the SD card. I've had most of the CD games that I have actually work and load on that SD card ROM, but unfortunately some of the HuCards don't quite work, and I may not have the correct ROMs for that, which is fine. So the big question is, who is this really for? I think prior to the hack, it definitely is for the TurboGrafx 16 or PC Engine collector that does have a lot of physical media. Now, the TurboGrafx 16 / PC Engine was not a system that I really grew up with. I was mainly a Nintendo and Sega Genesis as far as collector / gamer. Of course, growing up during that time, we didn't have a lot of money, and my parents, basically selected my systems for me. And I was glad that I was able to be exposed to the NES and the Genesis. So that said, the TurboGrafx 16 and PC Engine was not something that we had in our household because we couldn't support more than one console at a time. So this is a great chance for me to, play some of the games that I didn't really get a chance to. My cousin did have the TurboGrafx 16, and I remember maybe playing a lot of Splatterhouse when we were over at his house, along with Bonk's Adventure as well. So this is a nice way to catch up. So with that said, I didn't have a lot of physical games actually for the PC Engine or the TurboGrafx 16. So right now my original release ones are Street Fighter 2 the Championship Edition, which only came out in Japan, which you will see a clip of in the latter part of this video, along with Alien Crush. And then the rest are actually from PCE Works. They're actually a reproduction company based out of Germany, which does an amazing job with their CD cases, the games, and the manuals. Literally, you can't tell that it's not original as far as the quality. Fortunately, to prevent any unscrupulous sellers who are trying to sell basically rebranded PC Engine Works games as to pass off as originals, as you may or may not know, original TurboGrafx 16 games, PC Engine games right now are significantly higher than their Genesis and Super Nintendo counterparts, easily going from $60 to a minimum to as high up as a couple of $1,000s for some of the rarer titles. That said, PCE Works does have great collection. They've got about 12 box sets. They do come out of, again, Germany. Tobias is a great person to work with. I pretty much bought their whole collection, and I will be slowly doing some updates with some of the games that I picked up from them. Right now you'll be seeing Street Fighter 2 Championship Edition. So, barring that jailbreak, that is one good way to pick up physical media without having to literally break the bank, especially with games like Magical Chase, which easily fetch anywhere between $500 to $1,000 for a single copy, especially if you're talking about the US version. Now, since it is now jailbroken, and hopefully once it's updated, save states will be fixed, and you'll be able to have more compatibility along with some extra ROMs and the ISOs. Otherwise, it does run really well. I have a little bit of trouble with my PC Engine controller. For some odd reason, I have updated the firmware, but it just won't recognize or connect with the system whatsoever. So right now I am using it hardwired, so I may change that in the future. I do like the system overall. I do wish that it was more of a maybe a flip top or a top loader versus a motorized tray. I do worry that over time that motorized drive could break and you could be, stuck with an expensive original game in there. I'm not too worried, as I mentioned, since I do have the PCE Works games. I do like the fact that the Analogue Duo is compatible with SuperGrafx arcade PC Engine games as well. It automatically recognizes all the different regions. It automatically loads it and selects it. I do like the different filters that you are able to select. And as far as sound and not having to get your system modded with HDMI, try to find a CRT cable, and being able to play these games again for the first time, in my case, for a lot of these games besides the ones I've played over at my cousin's house, with literally almost no lag, at least no perceptible lag that I can fondly remember from those days playing at my cousin's house. It's amazing. It's a great little system. I did not pick up the Neo Geo, NES, or the Genesis, Super Nintendo analog systems that came out originally. I did pick up the Analogue Pocket, and that for me is a great handheld system. The Duo is a great follow-up, and I am looking forward to the Analogue 3D to play some of my original N64 games. So if you have a couple of friends and are looking and willing to go back and start a collection, whether that be original, taking it piece by piece, trying to shop for sales, or going the PCE Works route and picking up bootlegs or reproductions. In this case, again, very well reproductions. They look pretty much original, thanks to the quality of the paper used in the manuals, the CD cases, and even the little slip covers, especially for the Japanese games. Especially if you grew up in imported games back in the day, you can definitely see the quality that PCE Works brings to their reproductions. For me, I'm amazingly happy with the Duo. I know it's only going to get better. Since I know Analogue takes a little while to update their stuff, there is a new firmware, but I have not updated to that latest firmware, only because I did jailbreak mine to be able to, load some games on the SD card as well. What you see on here is Dynaforce, which is actually, this is playing off the actual Hue card from PCE Works. This was actually never released. PCE Works actually hosts the ROM itself, especially if you purchase from them. So you can have a copy of this to be able to play. So I do have this loaded on my Analogue Pocket, which thanks to the Pocket adapter, I can now play with the Hue card. Now, if you do pick up some of the PCE Works Hue cards, I will say a lot of their original batches, right now the stickers on the back are a little too thick. So I believe right around summertime, whether that be May or June-ish, they are going to be releasing some thinner stickers that you can put on the back of those Hue cards so they could work well and sit flush into the Analogue Duo. Right now, some of their older Hue cards, like say Splatterhouse, does not quite sit in all the way, and they do recommend that if you are going to use that, you do have to peel that back sticker off. I'm personally going to wait until they replace them before doing that, because I do want to protect, even though it is reproduction, I still want to protect it as well. That said, playing and these games with, again, no lag, 1080p, choosing 720p, adding scan lines, removing scan lines, CRT filters, I personally prefer playing it this way. Right now you're seeing the game played on a ultra short throw projector, so it's amazing to be able to see this projected on a 120-inch screen, especially once it's dark enough, especially with ambient light rejection screen. It's basically as contrasty and sharp as a nice LCD screen. Not quite OLED, but it's definitely very, very close, with no lag and no stutters, which is amazing. And what you see next is Forgotten Worlds. Now, this game was one of the games that I picked up on the SuperGrafx, and it plays just fine on the Duo. Unfortunately, since it is in the original arcade as a twin-stick shooter, it doesn't quite translate as well. You can learn to accept and get used to the controls, but it's definitely not something I would play default or have an easy time doing. I honestly play this game on the Nintendo Switch just because you do have two analog sticks there. But it is nice to be able to see what kind of a quality that port was even from back in the day. So overall, I would say the Analogue Duo is a wonderful system, especially now that it's jailbroken for the majority of folks. And primarily, I would say before that jailbreak to really pick up the Duo if you have already a lot of physical media that you don't have to pay aftermarket prices for, since again the PC Engine and TurboGrafx 16 games, at least physically, are quite the pretty penny. That said, it's now jailbroken, so you can just load it up. I personally still like the feel and having an actual console, so that for me is one of the reasons why they pick up the PC Engine Duo, the Analogue Duo, and definitely glad that I have this as part of my collection. So this is a pretty brief overview. I don't want to wax poetic too long. It is a little bit late, but I did want to add in my 2 cents. So thanks for watching. Have a great spring.